So welcome to our Green Flag Award webinar. So it's an explanation around the Green Flag program and how we would like to operate it in Australia. And I'll give you some history and background of where it's been and where Access is taking it now. So first of all, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we work and pay our respects to Aboriginal elders past and present. So a little bit about who we are. Sorry, it's just someone just jumping in now. Exist is a consultancy organisation. Where we've come from is we're an organisation that works in Australia, New Zealand and Canada, and we operate the Yardstick program and we deliver asset management training through IPWEA. Just recently, we've worked with Keep Britain Tidy in taking the licence with Green Flag Award, and that's the award program that we're going to be talking about today. The reason why Exist has picked it up is predominantly because of me. Previously, I was delivering the training for Green Flag Award in Australia and running the Green Flag Award in New Zealand about 6 years ago. So I was quite passionate about the program and very keen to get it up and going in Australia and getting where we think it could be and be used across the parks network. Okay, so the Green Flag Award, just sort of background information, it was developed by an organisation in the UK in 1997. And what it came from is that back in the UK, the parks weren't great places to go to. And Lindsay can attest to this because she is British and she has spent her time with Green Flag Award in the UK. So they had really bad environmental management and they weren't safe places to be. So an organisation developed the Green Flag Award, which was then picked up by the British government, who actually own the licence, and they then installed the Green Flag Award. And it's around about the experts of sharing knowledge and information around how to promote good spaces and how to manage a good park. So what they did was develop the criteria, put in place the Green Flag Award, which also helped the funding of parks. So that's where the Green Flag Award come from. To understand where it's come from in Australia's point of view, it's been in Australia since 2015, and it was then first picked up by Parks Forum, and they ran that until they were no longer financial, and then it was then picked up by Parks and Leisure Australia, who have run it for approximately 4 years, and then Keep Britain Tidy took back the license. So we've just recently negotiated with Keep Britain Tidy to run the license in Green Flag. And that's sort of where it's going right now, and the direction that we would like to take it is to grow the award through Australia. So where are Green Flag Awards? It's through 17 countries and it's managed worldwide. So this is sort of bit of an indication to show you where it's across the world and its growth pattern. And you can see that it's in Australia, New Zealand, America, Mexico, UAE, Finland, Spain, Norway, and obviously Ireland and Scotland, and obviously United Kingdom all over. So it's quite a well spread. There's over around about 2,500 green flags throughout the world currently at the moment. Okay, so the fundamentals of the green flag is to ensure that everybody has access to quality and green and open space, and ensures that spaces are appropriately managed and they sort of match the community and their requirement to serve the community. It's giving it a criteria to standard of good management, and it's promoting those good practices in the green corridor. Ideally, the green flag is to actually reward all the people that are actually involved in managing in parks. So it's the community as well as the council, as well as the councillors, as well as the mayor and the volunteers. So it's sort of recognising everyone's hard work. And fundamentally, green flag is a major set of criteria to make sure that we're actually managing parks into the right direction for the wealth and the well-being of the community. So what can be a green flag and what can achieve a green flag? It's a mixture of any green space that's free to the public. So a park that you pay to enter or a space that you pay to enter cannot be a green flag. But it is any place that is accessible to the public, that meets the 27 criteria, and it has the accessibility and the assets to actually enable the community to enjoy the space. So green flags in Australia. So as I mentioned, it was in 2013, 2015, the program started to grow. It had 25 flags back in 2015. Currently, we have 8 flags across Australia, predominantly mainly in the Brisbane, Gold Coast area. And we have established back in Melbourne and obviously one in Adelaide as well. It's been a long development and it's had its bumpy roads. But what Exist will be trying to do is trying to achieve a sort of a more of a knowledge around the green flag, which we'll explain later on. Okay, cool. So from the Green Flag Award, so you notice that everything that you mentioned there is actually the criteria of the green flag. What it's actually done, it's given us an 8-point criteria, which is focusing on a welcoming place, making sure it's health, safe and secure, making sure it's well maintained and clean. So that, that is your assets, your facilities, your green space, and your trees. Looking at your environmental management, your biodiversity, landscape and heritage, community involvement. So how interactive is your community, and how much are they involved in decision making within your park space, your communication, marketing and communication. And that's not what everyone thinks it's like, not a big marketing plan, and we'll explain that soon. And how well is the park managed? One of the key aspects of a green flag is that it has a management plan or a form of management plan, and it's just that collection of information that's showing that you're doing what you say you are doing, and that we're measuring that against the green flag assessment criteria. So when we break down the criteria, I'm not going to read through every single one here, but when you're looking at a welcoming place, we're looking at how welcome it is, and what that might mean is when you first enter the park, does it feel like a place that you want to come to? And looking at good and safe access, that's looking at the accessibility. Are there transport links? How do people get there? Is it easy to get through? And is it safe to actually? Is it safe and accessible? Signage is quite simply, is there informative signage? Do I know the name of the park? Does it actually show me a plan of how to get around a larger park? And then you're looking for equal access for all that. So that's looking at that high level detail around accessibility. Health, safe and secure. Now, it's not around the health and safety. It's looking at the provision of the facilities and the activities that are appropriate, which is what we sort of talked to, what you mentioned before, that fit for purpose. Is it actually right for the community? Where there's equipment, is it safe? And if it's got personal security, so that could be CCTV, that could be using SEPTED as sight lines, and that's really important. One of the things through the UK they identified as controlling of dogs, and dog felling. What's actually been updated in the criteria is also animal felling, like birds, ducks. Are we cleaning that off? Does it look presentable? Do we have management processes? So all of this is assessed through the criteria and scored appropriately, which I'll mention when we get to the end. Then we look at the well-maintained and clean. So we're looking at litter and waste, horticultural maintenance, arboriculture, building and infrastructure, and your equipment maintenance, which is your playgrounds and infrastructure that's actually within your park spaces. So it's looking at the specifications and outcomes that you've got. Is your internal business unit meeting that? Is your volunteer delivering the services, or is your contractor meeting the specification outcomes? Environmental management. So we're looking at the impact on the environment. Are we actually looking at options to minimize our impact? That could be through having water sensitive devices. It could be through solar. It could be through WSDUs. So it's looking at all of those sorts of areas. Waste minimization. Are we looking at recycling? Are we managing our waste? Are we looking at what sort of waste we're collecting, and are we measuring it? Chemical usage is looking for chemical minimization strategies. Now, peat use was in there because back in the day, and still currently in the UK, they still use peat, and it's not a process. So for us, that becomes not applicable, so it's not measured. And then the next one is, are we looking at climate change adaptation strategies? So is the park thinking about how it's going to set itself up for the future, and does it think about how it's going to adapt for the change in environment. And that's quite significant for some parklands. And then we look at biodiversity, landscape and heritage. So that's the management of natural features, wild flora and fauna. So that can come into your aspects of the Aboriginal heritage, it can come into aspects of the trees and the plants, and it can come into aspects to your biodiversity of that plant life as well. And then we look at the conservation of the landscape features. So that could be your heritage elements, and then your buildings will be your conservation of those buildings and structures. So it sets those criteria out. Okay, community involvement. What we're looking for in the green flag is how actively involved is your community, and how much decision making do they have. And this is one of the big areas they're looking, is the park actually fit for that community, and is it the provisions that's been provided acceptable for the community? So that can be measured through surveys. It can be also measured by how much involvement they have through the planning process as well. And then we look at marketing communication. The information that you have on your website, the information that's within the park itself, is the way that you market events on the site, how that's undertaken, and if there's educational interpretation information, what does that information look like on site and how's that portrayed? And then the last criteria is looking at the implementation of your management plan. So that could be your asset management plan, your renewal programs, your specification outcomes, and your master plan for the park. So what happens once, sorry, my mouse has disappeared for a second. Sorry, my mouse has just gone haywire. There you go. So when you undertake a green flag assessment, and you apply for a green flag award, we do a judging process, and I'll talk about the judges in a minute. But what we do is we do a desk assessment of the management plan. So we're looking at what is written in your management plan, and does it, or your plan of management and your renewal programs and your specifications, and is that actually industry best practice? So that, and does it meet the criteria guide, and have we measured those areas? And from that, a report is given to the applicant, and the report is given on what is a strength and where is an area for improvement. While we're doing the management plan, we're scoring it over the 27 criteria, and we're scoring it, that score reflects 30% of the overall mark of the park and the final scoring. Stage 2 is a site assessment. So we actually come to evaluate the site, and we look at what has been written in the management plan, and what has been said, and then we're evaluating what the criteria is and how is that actually happening on site. So it's a chance for two judges to come through the site and have a look, and we score that again accordingly. If there's volunteers, we will meet with volunteer groups as well, and if there's visitors, we'll even actually talk to those visitors as they're walking through the park. So the point we do make is there are two judges, and they have to agree upon the final scoring. And so the minimum combined pass rate is 66 out of 100, and it's looking for good management in the park. And the way we look at it is a judge is a trained professional. So any one of you can become a judge. So Lindsay Weaver's been a judge for about, how long, Lindsay, now? 20 something years? Am I saying your age?
18 years.
Pretty good guess. So, and the way that is you attend a judge training course, that's now delivered online, and then there's a face-to-face training with a trainer like me, and you're trained in the criteria and how to assess the criteria, and then how you write a report and how you give feedback, and that is what's supplied to the park for that makes the application. The benefit of being a judge is that you get a great opportunity to see what others do. So you're actually able to take away their learnings, but also you're able to share your learnings on how well, like, areas of your expertise. So it's a great way to also meet people and grow. So part of the Green Flag Award is also receiving an award for the park, but part of it's also being a judge or becoming a judge, so you get the experience to travel around Parkland to learn more, see other councils and see other shires. So how does the Green Flag Award benefit your park? Look, there's so many ways that people use Green Flag Award. Some councils or council parks managers will use the award to actually help with their funding and organise their funding cycle. So they'll use the criteria that's there for the park that they've won. They'll engage with the councillors and engage with the mayor to a point and have them involved in the journey, so it actually helps their long-term funding, so therefore once the councillors are actually fully engaged in the program, they understand the benefits of the Green Flag Award and how it impacts that community. Where the community's involved, it also helps that connection to that park, and it gives the recognition for the work that they've achieved as well. It's a way to also, through getting the Green Flag Award, you're not getting a consultant coming in. So if you're looking at your master planning or long-term planning, you can pick up the report that's come through. It's an independent report. So it's not a report that's been delivered by a consultant. It's a report that's been delivered by your peers. So that will give you some information or some clarity of how to actually move forward or justify some changes within your park assets. It's really, for me, it's a good way to recognize what everyone does in the park, and for how we sort of we have parks awards through PLA that recognizes a one-off point. The whole point of a green flag, it's a continuous cycle. It keeps you on your toes to make sure the park has been managed well. It also helps you for marketing, that you've actually got a place that's actually healthy and as community engaged by your community. There's a lot of different ways that people are using the green flag in Australia and New Zealand. We've had, I think, an organisation in Brisbane that's had a green flag award since 2015. And they use it predominantly to actually help with their measuring of their quality on the park year in, year out. And they also use it to balance off that while they've got a green flag award on that park, their other parks are coming up to that same standard, so they can use that as a measure of a point of measure. So for me, sometimes it's better to actually hear it from how it works for other councils. We have a couple of other videos that we can easily share with you on how it's worked for them. One example is Queanbeyan have used Green Flag Award previously to actually connect to sister cities so they can bench themselves internationally. So for us, the Green Flag Award's used in many ways, and it's just sort of how it fits within your organisation and how you get involved with the program. One of the key things about the Green Flag Award is how we market the Green Flag Award. So look, we know that historically it's not been majorly connected to the community. There's a lot of work for Exist here to actually develop this and actually get this award out there more involved in the community, and also to state government level, so everyone understands the value of the Green Flag Award. But for us, what we're actually currently doing, I can show you what's previously worked on, is, we get information out to Architecture AU, and you can see, how that's being passed through information. So we use their media outlets. We work with the councils to make sure that they update their web pages to show that they're actually green flag. There's Campbelltown again, and then we also do social media postings. And what we do is we work with your communications team to social media connections and get involvement. And really, it's just a chance to recognise and reward the team too. Long term, what we're looking at is with the Green Flag Award program is we want to also have an award process that we have for the Green Flag Award. So we want to actually bring everyone together in the state and actually show that actually, this is who's won the award and this is why, so that we can recognise the hard work by everyone that's involved. And being part of the Green Flag program as well, there's also part of, once you connect into the Green Flag Award, they have a resource hub. So you get into international information, and it gives you the ability to be connected to other tools and other supporting background information. And there might be information around environmental processes or updates internationally. So, and it's not just UK based, this is worldwide based. So we get information that comes through from obviously a research portal in University of Leeds University. There's also stuff that comes through from World Urban Parks as well, which is an organisation of parks managers that are internationally connected through Mexico, through the whole of the world, and that information will come through as well.